And of course, with every Grand National, there is the debate of the animal rights activists who oppose it. They say it's totally dangerous and cruel to horses, and others who say it is a sport and there is inbuilt danger in most sports. Writing in the Telegraph, the horse racing columnist and former racehorse trainer Charlie Brooks said changes that have been made to the sport recently are rapidly eroding its appeal and will destroy the popularity of the race. Ben Newman is a spokesperson for Animal Rising. Hello, Ben.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. And Brant Dunshea is the Chief Executive of the British Horseracing Authority. Brant, good evening.
Good evening, Stephen. How are you?
Good evening. I'm okay. 18 horses have died since the year 2000. How do you justify that?
What I will say is that racing is committed to improving the safety and the welfare of our horses. It's an ongoing process that doesn't end. Since 2023, when you look at the races on the Grand National course, there hasn't been a fatality. And of course, you'll recall that we introduced further changes. The Jockey Club introduced further changes in 2023 and modified various elements, including reducing the number of starters, making changes to the way the start was affected. And all of these constant initiatives are about improving safety, using data, using science to help us understand how we can mitigate the risk of what is, of course, a sport that carries inherent risk.
Why is that not enough, Ben?
Oh, well, sorry, the Grand National, this year a horse did die, actually, in one of the previous races. Willie died. And Broadway Boy flew over a jump and, well, they looked like they died, but then they didn't. But it was pretty gruesome. But 200 horses a year die in British horse racing, the important thing. And that number actually, since 2023, was actually went up in 2024. So the horse racing is not safe at all. And in fact, at the race today, before I came on here, my mum, during the race, phoned me up upset because she'd actually put bets on the Grand National with my uncle and an auntie. And she was really upset, and I think millions of people around the country were too.
You're saying it's not safe, but nothing's safe.
Yeah. Well, okay. Racing. I suppose. So I don't support any horse racing. I guess I don't want animals in danger for the sake of entertainment. I guess a lot of people don't. But jump racing, in particular, has a death rate of 5 times flat racing. It's 5 times. And if the horse racing industry supports welfare, maybe Brant, as the British Horseracing Authority CEO, might consider phasing out jump racing because the death rates are 5 times that of flat racing. What do you reckon, Brant?
Well, a couple of points I'd like to raise. I'm incredibly pleased to hear, Ben, that your family is supporting the Grand National or are betting on the race, because that's really what's at the heart of this event. It's a cultural part of British history. You know, there were 70-odd thousand there today. We've had bumper crowds across the 3 days, which shows the popularity of the sport. Now, in terms of fatalities, what we need to know, the important stat is that 99.7% of horses go to the races and come home safely every day. They enjoy what they do. They're so well looked after. They are treated with the utmost respect, and their welfare and health is our absolute priority. So, I respect that everybody has their view.
His question was, Brant, why wouldn't you get rid of jump? Why wouldn't you get rid of jump racing?
5 times more deaths.
Sorry, Stephen. I'm doing my best to hear. I'm in a difficult position here in terms of the noise, but sorry, what was that question?
I understand. His question, Brant, was why would you not get rid of jump racing if there are 5 times more death?
Jump racing is an integral part of our cultural heritage. We have reduced the number of fatalities in relation to jump racing by a third over the last 20 years. So our investment in working using science and using technology to help us reduce and mitigate risk is an endless task. It's ongoing, and so it's an important part of the social fabric of British society, jump racing, and that's why.
So if there continue to be 200 horses die each year, should it just continue?
No, as I said, it's an endless task for us to continue to reduce the risk, mitigate the risk. You need to appreciate that every equine pursuit carries risk. I've had horses, sadly, injure themselves and pass away running around in a paddock. I've had that happen myself. Every equine pursuit carries risk, and it's important to understand that what we're committed to doing is reducing that risk.
Brant, it's 200. That's not a negligible risk. It's 200 horses dying every year. The RSPCA against jump racing. South Australia has banned jump racing. If this number of athletes were dying in the human sport, it's unimaginable. 200 is a ridiculous number. What do you think?
There are 100,000 horses raced, 100,000 starters every year across British racecourses. 200 is a number that we're continually seeking to reduce. And whilst it was mentioned earlier that number increased this year, actually, what you need to recognise is that we redefined how we report fatalities, and that's why the number increased this year, because we included numbers that subsequent fatalities away from the racecourse. So what we were trying to do in terms of reporting that increase this year was be transparent and open about the number of fatalities that emanate as a result of our racing. But we're open about the data around racing, and that's published on our horsepower website. We're also very open and transparent about the enormous effort, the resources that go into doing the very best for our horses.
All right. Well, look, let's see what our listeners think tonight. Ben, thank you. Brant, thank you. 08085 909 693. Do you think it should be banned? Do you think there should be more pressure on the industry to make it even safer? Or actually, relatively speaking, do you think the industry is doing enough?